Hello everyone, welcome back to another geography class. So last week we spoke about winds and wind direction, the strength of winds, how they're formed. This week we are going to talk about hurricanes, alright? So I want everybody to get their geography books and notebooks out, alright? With a pencil and we will get started. I also want you to go to page 56 and 57 because that is where we will be reading. Alright, so before I get into explaining what hurricanes are, I have organized a video for you guys to watch. So yeah, take the time to watch this video and then we will get into our discussion.
Wow, in this video we are going to learn about hurricanes. Yeah, hurricanes. But first, we want to hear from you. 5-year-old Ayla from Montana watched our human eye video and said, "My irises are blue. Thank you for the videos." Yeah, the iris is the part of the human eye that is colored. Ayla, it sounds like you did a great job learning. We also heard from 9-year-old James from Utah who watched our reptiles video and said this video had some great photos and drawings. My favorite was the gecko. Yeah, the gecko was awesome, wasn't it? Yeah, geckos are great. We love hearing from you. Be sure and watch this video to the end to learn how you too could be featured on one of our videos. Well, as we mentioned earlier, in this video we are going to learn about hurricanes. We're going to learn some fascinating facts about these forces of nature. Let's start here. What is a hurricane? What is a hurricane? Well, a hurricane is a fast-moving storm system that brings heavy winds and rain. Hurricanes go by different names depending on where in the world they happen. For example, in the Atlantic and the Northeast Pacific, these storm systems go by the common name hurricanes. In the Northwest Pacific near Asia, these storm systems are called typhoons. Typhoons. There's no difference between typhoons and hurricanes except for their location. And then in the South Pacific and Indian Oceans, these storm systems are called tropical cyclones. Tropical cyclones. Now these are all referring to the same thing, they just have different names depending on where in the world they happen, but for the rest of this video we're going to simply call these fast-moving storms hurricanes. Now we mentioned earlier that hurricanes are fast. The winds are so fast, they move quickly. But just how fast are hurricanes? Well, hurricanes are so fast that they move faster than cheetahs. And cheetahs are the fastest moving land animals in the world. In fact, hurricanes can move as quickly as 75 miles per hour or even faster. This is what makes hurricanes so dangerous, is they move so quickly. I mean, 75 miles per hour or even faster. That is insane. I mean, look what the winds are doing to these trees. In addition to being fast-moving, hurricanes can also be really huge. Here is a hurricane as seen from the International Space Station. Now here is an interesting fact. There is actually an area in the hurricane where things can be relatively calm. In the middle of a hurricane is an area called the eye of the hurricane. The eye of the hurricane. And it almost looks like a little eyeball right in the middle of the hurricane, doesn't it? The eye of the hurricane can actually be a calm place because the winds are swirling around it, but the winds are not right in the middle. Even though it can be relatively calm to be in the eye of the hurricane, it's not good to be there because the wind is the fastest around the eye of the hurricane, and hurricanes are always moving. So if you are in the eye of the hurricane, that means pretty soon the winds around the eye are going to run into you, and that's not good. Unfortunately, because hurricanes are so powerful, they can do a lot of damage. Just look at what a hurricane did to these buildings. Hurricanes can do a lot of damage, not just to trees, but to buildings. Even buildings that look really strong can fall apart in a hurricane. Hurricanes can also cause flooding because the rain doesn't have anywhere to go. There's so much rain and it just builds up, causing flooding. Now here's the good news. We aren't surprised by hurricanes. We know what causes them, the warm air, the warm water, and we know when they form because there are lots of tools that let us know. This means we can prepare for hurricanes to make sure everyone stays as safe as they possibly can. Here's 2 tips to help you stay safe. First, stay indoors during a hurricane. It's no time to be outside when a hurricane is happening. The second tip is to always follow evacuation orders. There are people called emergency managers that track the progress of a hurricane. If it looks like things are going to be too dangerous for people, they have people evacuate the area. That means to leave for their safety. There you go, hurricanes, massive storm systems that bring a lot of wind and a lot of rain. We hope you enjoyed these facts, and I think I'm lost. And why do I have my shopping cart with me?
So, you made it to the end of the video. You are awesome. Remember the kids' comments? We promised you we would share how you too could be featured on one of our videos. With the help of an adult, leave your first name.
Okay guys, so I think you guys got the point. I hope that gave you a better understanding of what hurricanes are and all the characteristics that come with it. So let's go over it ourselves now. What are hurricanes? Let's start reading the book. Okay, so everybody should be on page 56 at the top. Okay, so hurricanes are powerful swirling storms found in the tropical parts of the Atlantic Ocean. The winds in a hurricane are very fast. They go over 120 kilometers an hour. Hurricanes around the Indian Ocean and Oceania are called tropical cyclones, while hurricanes in the Pacific Ocean are called typhoons. So guys, you need to keep in mind that depending on where the hurricanes are, the names change. So like it said, hurricanes around the Indian Ocean or Oceania are called tropical cyclones. And hurricanes that happen in the Pacific Ocean are called typhoons. And I'm assuming the rest, like if hurricanes happen anywhere else, they are called hurricanes, okay? So, what are hurricanes? You need to know that hurricanes are a powerful swirling storm found in the tropical parts of the Atlantic Ocean. Okay? So yeah, hurricanes usually happen in the Atlantic Ocean. Alright? That is when they are called hurricanes. Okay. Okay, so remember, hurricanes are a powerful swirling storm found in the tropical parts of the Atlantic Ocean. What are tropical cyclones? Tropical cyclones are hurricanes around the Indian Ocean or Oceania. So remember that. So now we know that hurricanes are swirling storms in the Atlantic Ocean. We know that tropical cyclones are hurricanes that happen around the Indian Ocean and Oceania. Alright? Take some time to write this. Okay, come on. And what are typhoons? Typhoons are a weather system that bring very powerful winds and torrential rain and causes widespread destruction that occur in the Pacific Ocean. So, long story short, typhoons are hurricanes that happen in the Pacific Ocean. Okay? Now, our question is, when do hurricanes form? So let's move on to the book. Okay, so let's go on to the paragraph that is titled, How Do Hurricanes Form? Hurricanes usually begin over tropical parts of the world's oceans, where the temperature is more than 27 degrees. They form when the air is much warmer than the ocean's surface. So, guys, keep in mind that hurricanes happen in hot weather, all right? So it has to be about 27 degrees Celsius, and the air has to be much warmer than the ocean surface. And as this air starts swirling and moving towards the land, the storm picks up huge amounts of energy and water vapor. When the wind speed reaches 120 kilometers an hour, a storm is called a hurricane. Okay, so when do hurricanes form? Hurricanes form when the air is much warmer than the ocean surface, and it usually has to be higher than 27 degrees. Okay. Where do hurricanes usually begin? Okay, so hurricanes, they usually begin over tropical parts of the world's oceans, where the temperature is more than 27 degrees. Okay, so if we were to describe a hurricane, we would describe, okay, so before I get into this, actually, I want to read the paragraph titled Inside a Hurricane. So everybody follow along. A hurricane can be as much as 900 kilometers across and 10 kilometers high. Inside it, the massive wind and clouds spiral upwards. At the center or eye of the hurricane, the skies are clear, and the temperatures high and the air fairly calm. The strongest winds, with the speeds of up to 350 kilometers an hour, occur immediately around the eye of the hurricane. Hurricanes also produce very large amounts of rain, between 300 and 600 millimeters. It takes several days for a hurricane to travel from the ocean where it was formed to the land. Okay, so if we were to describe a hurricane, we would say that it can be as much as 900 kilometers wide. When it says across, it means wide, and that is huge. All right. So it's 900 kilometers across, which means wide, and 10 kilometers high. And inside, the massive wind and clouds spiral upwards. So, you know, the swirl goes up, not downwards. And there is always, so the center of a hurricane is always pretty clear. So we call that the eye of the hurricane. So yeah. You also need to know that the temperature is high. And the air is fairly calm. Take a second to write this down. Okay, so let's continue with actually no, let's just answer the question here. So what usually occurs immediately around the eye of the hurricane? Okay, so we know that the strongest winds with speeds of up to 350 kilometers an hour. So that is what occurs immediately at the around the eye of the hurricane. Okay, so what do hurricanes produce? Hurricanes produce large amounts of rain between 300 and 600 millimeters. That is what they make. Okay, so guys, let's move on to the paragraph titled Hurricane Names. Okay, so it says hurricane names. Weather scientists give hurricanes names. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have ever noticed, because we don't have hurricanes that happen often here. They happen more, I've heard, like when I was a kid, I would hear about them happening a lot in America. And they wouldn't just call them hurricanes, they would actually name the hurricanes. So like Hurricane Katrina, all right? Or like they have like a list of names, all right? So since 1978, the scientists have drawn up a list of alternate boys and girls names in alphabetical order. Each time a new hurricane is discovered, it is given the next name on the list. So they have a list that they follow of boys and girls names, and they're all in alphabetical order. Every time a hurricane happens in the world, they literally name it. Like they cross it off the list and just follow it accordingly. Okay, and yeah. Names can be used again after 6 years. So let's just say Hurricane Sophia happened this year. God forbid. But Hurricane Sophia happens this year. We are not allowed to use that name again until 6 years later. Okay? But the names of especially severe storms are never used again. So I remember when I was a kid, I still remember we had there was this hurricane that happened in America. It was called Hurricane Katrina. Hurricane Katrina literally destroyed the place. It destroyed the state. Many people's homes were gone, destroyed. There were many victims. So I'm sure they will never name a Hurricane Katrina again, because that hurricane was just so, like, people still remember it till this day, and I think it happened like about 16 years ago, if I'm not wrong. So yeah. Okay, so yeah, how are hurricanes named? So weather scientists give hurricane names based on the list of girl and boy names that are written in alphabetical order. Each time a hurricane is discovered, it is given the next name on the list. Okay, so take a minute to write that. Can hurricane names be used again? Yes, names can be used again after 6 years, but the names of especially severe storms are never used again. So if, like I mentioned before, if the storm was just so bad and caused so much damage, it will never be used again because it's so memorable. Everybody will always remember it for that one name. But if like this hurricane is minor and it doesn't do much, then you can use it 6 years later. Okay. So let's move on to hurricane damage, the paragraph that is titled that. Okay, so as it crosses the ocean, the hurricane pushes up huge waves. The water level near or under a hurricane can be over 5 meters higher than the water level in the ocean around it. When these waves reach land, they can cause serious flood damage and loss of life. Boats are lifted out of harbors, flung over seawalls, and smashed to pieces far inland. The hurricane winds uproot trees, destroy buildings, lift trucks off the road, and break electricity and telephone poles. Hurricane damage occurs mainly on the coast and islands. A hurricane usually weakens and dies out fairly quickly once it's away from the ocean, because it gets its energy and moisture from the sea. On average, a hurricane lasts for a week or two. So, yeah, keep that in mind. So, the hurricane usually gets its energy from the sea. So, once it is away from the sea, it'll calm down because it is no longer getting its energy from it. So, let us discuss what are the consequences of hurricanes. So, the first consequence is serious flood damage. It could cause the entire city to flood, or a huge portion of the city to flood. It can also put people's lives at risk, so loss of life. There are like thousands and thousands of people have died from hurricanes. Boats are lifted out of harbors and flung over seawalls and smashed to pieces far inland. So it can literally, like, depending on how strong it is capable of destroying boats and just smashing them into pieces. It can uproot trees. It can literally take like, you guys, I'm pretty sure you've stood by a tree, you've seen a tree before. And I don't know if you've ever tried to pull on a tree, but it is literally impossible to take it out, right? So hurricanes are capable of uprooting trees, which takes a lot of strength. They can also destroy buildings, and they can lift trucks off the road. And they can break electricity and telephone poles. So I think from these consequences, you can just imagine how powerful hurricanes really are. So take a minute to write this down. Okay. Now, how long does a hurricane last? A hurricane on average lasts for about a week or two. All right? And this is when it gets away from the sea and it doesn't have any more energy. When does a hurricane usually die out and weaken? Well, once the hurricane is away from the ocean, it gets its energy and moisture from the sea. So once it's away from that, it no longer has that energy, that support. So slowly it tends to die out and weaken until it has no energy whatsoever left. Let me read the caption under the picture on page 57. So, Hurricane Sandy in October 2012 was the largest Atlantic hurricane ever recorded. It had a diameter of 1,800 kilometers, and it killed at least 286 people as it moved across 7 countries. This shows some of the damage caused by Hurricane Sandy in Jamaica. So as you can see here in the picture provided on page 57, you can see that the hurricane has done a lot of damage in a little portion of Jamaica, which is very, very sad. Now, what is the largest Atlantic hurricane ever recorded? Like I just mentioned, it was Hurricane Sandy in October 2012, and it killed at least 286 people as it moved across 7 countries. Now, let me read the did you know. Did you know more than 9 million people were affected by Typhoon Haiyan, which slammed into the Philippines in November 2013, causing a catastrophic damage and killing at least 5,200 people? That is crazy. So yeah, that brings us to the end of our lesson. I hope you guys got a good understanding of what hurricanes are, how they're named, how they're formed, how they're weakened, and all that stuff. If you have any questions regarding the lesson, please do let me know by shooting me a comment, or just give me any of your questions as well. So yeah, I will see you guys soon.